Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. Central, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. You can find us on the radio at icradio.media, on which we're Fox News affiliates. You may also find us on the radio and television. That's 182 Charter, and then also syndicated on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on the newscasters.com. Continue sending emails. I love them. Donna at donnasedge.com. So I have a gentleman with me right now. He's everybody's favorite sports talk show host. His name is AP Steadham. AP as we see it. And you're on our radio station. And man, we're glad to get you.
Hey, thank you so much, Donna. It's always a pleasure to be on IC Radio and let the audience know, as you always do. And I appreciate it. Every Friday, Football Friday, IC Radio, 4 p.m. Central, AP as we see it, and we like to inform and entertain with our guests and our commentary, thoughts, analysis, and observations about college football and more.
Yeah, and you do it. Now, you're also on the newscasters. You got everything set up there yet?
Correct. On the newscasters as well. We videotape everything now, broadcast on my personal YouTube page at AP Steadham and at AP as we see it. So you can catch us there on Spotify as well. So we're trying to catch up to you, Donna.
You're not as old as I am, then you will. So anyway, you're on your own rights. I mean, and I'll tell you what, going back to just thinking about some of the shows in the past where, always at the beginning of the season, I always ask you, what's your analysis? What are your thoughts? How do you think it's going to,
right.
Most of the time you're correct, but now you've been doing this since you were 2 years old?
Probably so, yeah. SEC football, we've been watching it forever. And I tell people it's all in my head. It's all in my head, whether I want it to be there or not. I can have thoughts and memories for decades now, but it's been fun. And the sport has grown so much, especially in the last couple of years with the name, image, and likeness, the transfer portal. We have coaches having to succeed within like 2.5 years. Players moving around, professionalism that has been introduced to college athletics, especially college football at the highest level.
Well, a few little bumps along the way with all the changes, but I think it's probably smoothing out now. I think it's getting.
Yes, you must adapt. Yeah, you must adapt right down or you'll perish. Adapt or perish. And those coaches that manage change, as they did through COVID and different things that have happened, rules changes, they succeed. If you whine about it, and there's some coaches, they're the biggest whiners, but behind the scenes, Donna, they are introducing those rules and changes to their program. So don't listen to Metropolitan. Yeah.
So when I started this show, like almost 20 years ago, we had these little tapes we would have to send out.
Yes.
For syndication. And now all you do now is go to Dropbox.com and just, send a link and you're done. I like it much better the way it is now because it was kind of a hassle. And you would have to hope they got it in the mail in time. I mean, it was just, It was just awful. But I wanted to ask you about something. Now, you put on a very, very, very successful event, the Wishbone Boys, and that was, Phil and I were there. And I want to tell you, those guys who played for Coach Paul Bear Bryant, they were just like teenagers again. When they were in that theater, they were having a blast.
Yeah, we brought them back to Lifetime. I think it really was a lot of fun when you look at it from that perspective. When we traveled around the country, tried to get as many people as we could from that 12-year era. And I think that they were really happy with our outcome of the film, the Wishbone Boys, and they were able to show their children, their grandchildren, or maybe great-grandchildren, and they'll live forever in that film.
I loved it. And we were sitting around those guys, and they were ribbing each other as if they were still in college. I mean, it's like they went to college. And so a couple of the wives, I said, they went back in time, haven't they? They were just having a good time. And it was so good to see that. It was so good to see. Now you have another event coming up.
Yeah, we do, Donna. We're going to announce it today. I think I'm announcing it here first. Actually, it's called the Week 0 Labor Day Classic. It involves the #1 team, Division II football, Valdosta State, versus Miles College right here in Birmingham, Alabama. They're #1 in the HBCU Division II, and they're also ranked 25th at the moment. And they made the playoffs. Miles, we were at the game the other day to tell everybody about it. Miles College, they won the CIAC. They beat Clark Atlanta in their league championship. So we're going to bring those two schools to Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. We're going to put them on TV. We're going to have a big extravaganza with the barbecue and the music, the entertainment. And we're going to be announcing a doubleheader game. We don't have the other two teams yet, so we can tell you. But we have the number one team in the country and Miles College right here in Birmingham, Alabama, who are ranked. And they're number one in the HBCU poll. So we're really excited. Believe it or not, down at Miles College made the playoffs. They're playing Carson Newman. If they win the game, they'll play Valdosta State this year in the playoffs. So it could be a rematch next year at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. So just, I'm going to send out the press release today. I'll send it to you as well, and you can buy your tickets. But we're going to have entertainment. We're going to have big time, some singers, and we're going to have some celebrities, football players, boxers, all types of people to come to Birmingham, Alabama. Labor Day weekend, August 30th, 2025, week 0 Labor Day Classic.
That's going to be awesome. It's going to be so much fun. Now, this past weekend was a little interesting. So let's talk about what happened in college football.
Yeah, we always discuss Tennessee, and I'm thinking, Donna, that Tennessee was going to travel to Athens, Georgia. Georgia coming off an 18-point loss on the road to Ole Miss and Oxford. Tennessee looking sharp. Well, they couldn't do it down there. They only had 319 yards of offense. Georgia played very good defense. Georgia had 453 yards. Carson Beck, the Georgia quarterback, made a big comeback, 347 yards, a couple of touchdowns, no interceptions this time. Nico Iamaleava had only 167 yards passing, no touchdowns. So 31-17 was the final. Tennessee is still viable, possibly for a championship berth in the SEC. Georgia is too, but you have to keep winning. You want to be in that 12-team college football playoff. But Tennessee, they were an underdog going to Athens, but Georgia came out on top. So that was the big game of the week in the SEC, one of the big games. That was the biggest.
Mm-hmm. How do the rankings stand right now within the SEC?
Right, within the SEC. Well, I'll give you I have the two polls that I usually use on the AP poll, Associated Press, and the Football Writers Association of America. We'll start with Oregon at the top, undefeated. Ohio State with the 1 loss. Texas with the 1 loss is 3. You have Penn State 4, Indiana 5. Then we'll look at the SEC teams. Alabama at 7 and then 6 in the other poll. Georgia 8 in both polls. Ole Miss 9 in both polls. Tennessee is 10th and 11th. Texas A&M is 15th in both polls. And then South Carolina. So that's 7 teams in the Associated Press poll. And just 6 in the Football Writers Association of America, because they only have 16 teams in the poll. And then, Donna, that does not include the college football rankings because it's going to change this week. They make that announcement early in the week. So there's no sense giving that from last week because it's going to change because what happened over the weekend. So, but that's the poll right now. The SEC is strong. A lot of teams in the top 25, top 16. I think, Donna, when you look at one of the surprise teams, I have to say it's South Carolina. South Carolina, of course, Vanderbilt as well. But South Carolina, 7 wins right now, a couple of games left. They beat Missouri at home. They had a big lead, 21-6. Missouri came back, went ahead. South Carolina came back in the last minute to win that ball game, close ball game. I thought that was very impressive. One of the transfers they have is Raheem Sanders, Rocket Sanders, running back. He had, I think, 1,500 yards at Arkansas. Transfer's been injured at South Carolina, but the last month or so, he's been on a tear down. He's been a critical factor for them to win ball games. And they have those 2 edge rushers for South Carolina, putting pressure on the quarterback all the time. So that South Carolina champion, they've done a magnificent job. But they can't rest on their laurels, Donna, because they have a couple of games left, including the rival. We always discuss Clemson. That is going to be
because I'm going to tell you what, I got a lot of friends in South Carolina.
Yeah.
You can't mention one without mentioning the other. You'll get some nasty emails.
That's going to be a big ball game, and South Carolina actually hosts that game. Oh no, they have to go on the road. They have to go on the road to Clemson.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm checking that schedule. They have to go on the road, but South Carolina's a tough out. Tough out, man. They believe in themselves now.
But I'm going to tell you the rivalry there just about, it matches the Alabama Auburn and Alabama Tennessee rivalry.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
I'm talking big time. But
Yes.
first, okay, so Phil and I went to a farmer's market up there. You'd think, oh, just food and stuff like that. Almost everybody said, all right, are you Clemson or are you North Carolina? I mean,
South Carolina. Right, yeah.
And I was like,
Right.
neither.
Clemson or South Carolina. That's correct. That's correct.
And
Absolutely.
whatever you do, don't mention Alabama and Auburn to them either. I mean,
No.
just don't.
No, for sure. No, they don't want to hear that for sure. But it's similar. It's very similar. Yes. No question. No question. It's very similar. Yes.
Oh yeah. But it's a lot of fun. We love the rivalry.
Oh yeah.
So okay, let's talk to folks in South Carolina right now. How do you think is it kind of like Alabama and Auburn, where Auburn can be losing like every game of the season? They can always come.
And once in a while it happens that way. South Carolina, down to their next game, they're playing the in-state school, Wofford. So that's kind of a game I call it a family and friends game. They should win by a big margin. So you're giving those tickets away to family members and friends. They don't have a chance to attend the South Carolina game. But that following week against Clemson at Clemson, and both teams are vying for playoff berths. So it's really important within the state. And that makes it so much fun, Donna. I always tell people you should really root hard for your rival school for a couple of reasons. Because at the end of the year, do you want that game to be on television, on a widespread big network? Well, you better hope the other team is good, because if they're not, you're going to be at the early game, 11 o'clock on their second or third level network. So you're rooting against yourself. And in this playoff age, Donna, remember, strength of schedule, that helps you. So if your opponent is weak, you get no assistance from the committee. They're saying, oh, you beat your rival and they were 0-11. So what? It doesn't help you move up the chart.
Absolutely.
So it's really important for your rival to be good, especially at the end of the year when you're trying to make those final evaluations. That's when you can make a leap in the poll. Oh, you beat this team. They were 6th in the country and you were 8th. You might jump them. It's critical, but people, they root against their own interest, Don.
I never got that either. Now don't tell my husband this. I'm an Auburn fan. He's an Alabama fan. So don't tell Phil, please, whatever you do. And I hope he's not going to listen to this. Okay, I'm for Auburn, but I'm also if Auburn doesn't have a chance,
right,
at a bowl game or whatever, I really want Alabama to win. I mean, I really do.
Yeah, I've seen it at the end of the year, Donna, where teams are very good, high in the poll, but the last couple games, their opponents have losing records, and they don't make, let's say, a playoff. And then they're sitting at home, but not sitting home, but they're going to a bowl, but not any type of playoff situation. So I just remind people, and it's very difficult to make them change, you must root for your opponents to win.
You really do. You really do. Let's go into a commercial break. I can't believe half the show is already over. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Everybody.
All right.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
I'm excited to announce our Christmas extravaganza is finally here. Get this season's flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. They won't last long, so get them while you can. Our famous My Slippers, they haven't been on sale for over a year. Regularly $119.98, now only $59.98. Our 6-piece towel sets are back in stock with extremely limited quantities, only $29.98. With hundreds of MyPillow products, there's something for everyone on your Christmas list. Bathrobes, duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save on all MyPillow products. For example, flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. Or our 6-piece towel sets, just $29.98. But that's not all. I'm extending our 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st of 2025. Plus, all orders over $75 or more ship absolutely free.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community
Good afternoon.
College.
We're back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show. I've got AP Steadham with me right now. Time just flies by. So what's going on with AP as we see it?
Yeah, Donna, this week we're going to be discussing probably Alabama is in control of their destiny at this point, but they'll be on the road against Oklahoma, who joined the SEC, as we know. Now, Oklahoma's a blue-blood school, blue-blood defined by top 10 winner. They had, probably 6 or 7 Heisman Trophy winners, 4 or 5 national championships, but their program is down this year. They're struggling offensively because of the quarterback situation. And I was told, and we mentioned this on the air here, that they don't have the strength on the offensive and defensive lines to compete in the SEC. So we're probably going to discuss that game in particular. It's very important. But there's some interesting games coming up this week, Donna. As you look over the schedule, LSU is a team, Donna, that faltered. They're 6-4 now. There's no way anybody predicted LSU to be 6-4 this week. So we discuss every team, but another game that's kind of interesting to me is in Florida. Now, Florida, they beat LSU by double digits, 27-16 in Gainesville. Okay. And now Florida this week, they'll be hosting Ole Miss. Now, Florida's not vying for a playoff. They need another win to get in the bowl game because they're 5-5. But Ole Miss is in the thick of the college football race, as we stated, at number 9 in one poll, both polls actually, and in the college football rankings as well. So all of a sudden, you're thinking you're going to beat Florida at the end of the beginning of the year. They were struggling so badly, but DJ Lagway, the freshman quarterback, he was healthy. He was knocked out of their Georgia game. Ole Miss has to travel on the road to Gainesville. Those are hostile fans. It'll be loud, and all of a sudden, Florida has this newborn confidence. And so Ole Miss, that's you have to be very careful in that ball game and take the Gators seriously. So that's one of the games we're going to discuss as well. And now Texas A&M, they're a team. They have Auburn left on the schedule and Texas. They're hosting Texas, traveling on the road to Auburn. So that's a huge game for Texas A&M because, Don, if they went out, they could face, let's say, Alabama and Atlanta in the SEC championship game. And they're fighting for a college football playoff berth as well. So those are a couple interesting games in the league. And I think those are the ones that strike me as being the most important this week and worthy of a strong discussion because these are teams that are trying to earn that berth in the first ever college football 12-team playoff.
Wow. So what we saw happening at the very first of the year to right now has been mind-boggling. I wouldn't have predicted it.
Don, who would have predicted Vanderbilt would beat Alabama?
I know. And others.
It didn't win a game in the conference last year. Beat Alabama, who was number 1 at the time. Hadn't done it in 40 years. Okay. And before that was 69. Okay. So you have Vanderbilt. It was definitely a surprise, not only in the conference, but across the country, bowl eligible. You have South Carolina. They had that tough loss at home against LSU by 3 points, where they were ahead by double digits and lost. But they came back, won some big ball games. They're in a position now. If they went out, let's say the bowl game too, I don't know if they get in the playoffs, but they could end the season, 9-2. I think it's 9-2 or that's something like that, whatever. But they could have a lot of wins that we didn't expect. Let's put it that way.
That's true.
Let's put it that way.
If you had to analyze it right now, who do you think will actually stop at the top of the hill? Who's going to be the number 1?
Yeah, Donna, right now, just nationally, I would say Oregon's in a good position to maintain that lead at number 1. They'll have to play in the Big Ten championship, of course. For the SEC, Donna, it is still 2 weeks left, wide open. We don't know. We think that if Alabama wins out, Texas or Texas A&M wins out, they would be the opponent. And then between that game, who knows? Because 1 minute Texas is, losing to Georgia at home, and they're winning every other game, and they have as much talent as anyone, not only in the league but in this country. And Alabama, sometimes they have the turnovers that prevents them from winning. We know Texas A&M, they've had some injuries with their running back. Moss, he's out, so they have to use some reserves there. Good players. In the quarterback situation, they've been using a couple of quarterbacks to win. So Texas A&M, they lost the first game to Notre Dame, and then they lost one of those special games. South Carolina was 44-20. So, like we said at the beginning of the season, I made this statement. We felt strongly. Everyone was chasing Georgia and Ohio State, and they caught them both. Ohio State went on the road, lost by a point at Oregon, great ball game. Georgia lost to Alabama early, right? And then they went on the road again, lost to Ole Miss. So now it's wide open, the Wild West for the championship, especially with 12 teams.
It is. Who do you think, if you had to pick the biggest disappointment team, who do you think that would be this year? Somebody was like right on top, and they're just nowhere near.
Well, I thought Ole Miss would not be upset this year. You look at Kentucky, I believe they still have the one conference victory, and they upset Ole Miss earlier in the season in Oxford. I was there covering that game. And you're thinking, Lane Kiffin always has the offense, has the quarterback been there, I think, 3 years, the receivers, tight end, running backs, offensive line, brought in some length and speed on the defensive side. And they only scored 17 points at home against Kentucky. And Kentucky, who struggled all year down scoring points, they scored 20 and beat them by 3 points that afternoon. So that was a big letdown, I think, for Ole Miss. And then they lost again to LSU. And of course, LSU, they've got to be right up there for disappointment, and also Missouri, because we like that Missouri team entering the season. They had bad losses, 34-0 at Alabama, 41-10 at Texas A&M. Then they just lost to South Carolina, came all the way back from double digits, down 21-6, went ahead, couldn't hold the lead in the last minute. They had a minute to hold the lead. They couldn't hold it on the road. It was Columbia versus Columbia. There's the two mayors get involved in that for a little wager. But yeah, so there's been some big disappointments, but the only thing with Ole Miss is they have a chance to redeem themselves. They're still in the hunt. Whereas LSU, 4 losses. Like we say, Kentucky faltered this year. Brought in the transfer quarterback, Brock Vandagriff from Georgia. Highly recruited. Sat on the bench behind Carson Beck. They couldn't get it going offensively. It's too much pressure. And they had, and I always bring this up, they had the 2 best defensive efforts maybe in the season. They held Georgia to 13 in Lexington. They held Ole Miss to 17, as we mentioned, in Oxford. So there's been some, big disappointments. Not, like I say, Ole Miss had a couple of disappointments. They're still in the hunt. But LSU, big disappointment. Kentucky, big disappointment. Missouri, big disappointment for the fans.
So let's talk about Auburn for just a few minutes.
Yes.
We're still raving out there. Has Auburn done as you expected them to do this year?
No, that's a disappointment as well. We're going to put them in there as well, and Oklahoma as well. Auburn, we thought the quarterback transfer from Michigan State, Peyton Thorne, he needed receivers, and they brought in some young people in a transfer from Penn State. We thought that would beef up that receiving core. But Donna, they're like way down there, 120 something in the turnover category. If you don't have superior talent, Donna, it is very difficult to win football games. So they would move the football. They had those inverse numbers where their offense was pretty highly rated, but their scoring was way down because they turned the ball over. They would move the football up and down the field, but turn it over and didn't make critical third downs as well. So Auburn, yes, they're in the disappointment category. Things have not gelled offensively. And the defense, Donna, as we know, it gets worn out gradually over the season. So that affects your entire football team. If you have an offense that can keep people on the bench, then your defense is resting. Throughout every game, you're resting. So by the end of the season, you're ready to really have a top level performance on that side of the ball. But because the offense was sputtering the entire season, pretty much, it's affected the entire football team. So.
And I think I know what your answer is going to be on this one, but which has been the biggest breakthrough as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, the breakthrough. I'd say, Vanderbilt not winning a game in the conference, and now you're bowl eligible.
Great.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good, Don. That's great. And beating the number 1 team ever, for the first time ever. You're 0-60 or something, and they beat the number 1 team now, something like that. Top 5 team, whatever it was, some statistic that was a 0 and a bunch of numbers on the other side, and you broke through and beat Alabama at number 1. Just, Alabama's like the bell cow of the SEC through the years. You beat Alabama when they were ranked number 1. You didn't beat them when they were number 5. You beat them when they were number 1.
About 30 seconds, real quick. Where can we find information about your upcoming event?
Oh, yeah, we're going to look on our website, Week 0 Labor Day Classic. I'll be sending a press release that I'm going to send it to you. And we're really excited. Legion Field, iconic football capital of the South. Many great games are played there by Alabama and Auburn. But we're bringing these 2 Division II teams, both ranked number 1 in their category, respectively. And we're very excited. Entertainment, barbecuing, all types of events. We can't wait. August 30th, 2025. Be there.
That's going to be fun. AP, thank you so much for being with me as always. AP, as we see it at Football Friday at 4, right here at this station, IC Radio Station. Hope you have a super duper awesome, blessed day today. And also for you guys out there, thank you so much for watching. We do this for you. And special thanks to all of our sponsors. Thank you so much for hanging out there with us. Hope you have a great, great rest of the day. Bye-bye.
All right, Don. Thank you, Don.